Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial on students code dataset which we will be solving by supervised machine learning method, that is linear regression. And this project is under the data science and business analytics of the Sparks Foundation. My name is Preet Mehta, and so today we will be solving this students code dataset by the linear regression. And so like the data science is currently at its peak. Okay, using the machine learning models we can do a lot of things, right from predicting the stock prices to generating even a fake painting of the famous Mona Lisa. Okay, so the linear regression is one of the easiest machine learning algorithms, we can say. Okay, so like I'll just brief the table of contents. Okay, so what you will be gaining, okay, at the end of this tutorial. So you'll be gaining the basics of linear regression. Firstly, you will be I'll be teaching you the maths behind the linear regression. Okay, and after that there are two methods which can be uh, done over here. The one is OLS and other is by gradient descent. So we'll be understanding the gradient descent and the cost function, and after that we'll be making a linear model from scratch. Okay, linear regression model from scratch, and we also be implementing the same model through scikit-learn and SGD regressor. Okay, so firstly let's understand what is linear regression. So so y equal to mx plus b, I hope you all must have learned right from school, right? So the linear regression is a method which is used to define the relationship between a dependent variable y and the independent variable x, which is simply written as y equal to mx plus b, right? Where y we can say is the dependent function, dependent variable, and m is the scale factor or the coefficient, and b is the Bayes coefficient. Okay, and x is the independent variable. This is the independent variable, this is a dependent variable. The Bayes coefficient, right, which is b over here, it gives an extra degree of freedom to this model. Now what is our goal? Okay, our goal is to draw the best fit line. This is the best fit line, we can say, let us assume this is the best fit line, in such a way that we get a least error. Okay, so how do we define this coefficient? Okay, the m and b. So there are generally two methods, as I mentioned: the ordinary least mean square method, which is called the OLS method approach, right, and the second is the gradient descent approach. So here we'll be implementing the gradient descent approach. The line seen in this graph is the actual relationship we are going to accomplish, and we want to accomplish the error, we want to minimize the error of our model. The line is the best fit that passes through most of the scatter points and also reduces the error, which is the distance from the point to the line, which is illustrated over here, right? This is the error and these are the points. It's called a scatter plot diagram. Now our objective is to find the model parameters so that the cost function is minimum. So what is the cost function? Cost function, there's a formula, but simply to understand we can say that is the distance between the predicted y and the actual y. Okay, so we can say the predicted y is this point. For this point we can say the predicted y will be over here. For this point it will be over here, and the distance between them, okay, if you reduce it, it will be the cost function. So as I mentioned, the methods to find the coefficient are these two methods, and we'll be implementing the gradient descent approach, right? Now let's understand the hypothesis of linear regression. So over here, like if say you have n number of features, okay, there are n number of features here, x1 x2 up to xn are called the feature value. theta 1 up to theta n are called the model parameters, and theta 0 is called the bias term or the bias coefficient, and y is the predicted value. So we can represent it in this in this equation. Now understanding the maths behind the linear regression. Okay, so let's say this is the line of all the scatter plots. Okay, and once we have all the coordinates of all the scatter points, we can draw a mean over here, mean line. Like if we have y1, y2, y3, y4, then we can draw a mean of all those points over here. Now the distance of all the points from this mean, okay, it is called SSR. Okay, simply right now understand the terminologies. I'll be explaining all of them. This is called SSR. Okay, the distance from mean to the predicted y, and the actual y is over here. Okay, so this can be, let's say this is an explained error, while the distance from the predicted y to the actual y, this is called SSE. Okay, and this is unexplained error, and the sum of both the errors is called SST. Now let us understand all these three parameters. So firstly, what I said, SSE, it is called the sum of square of errors which is the distance from yi to y to the predicted value, actual value to predicted value. So what they are doing is the sum of square of the distance between them, right? It is what I said, the distance between the actual value and the predicted value, which is called SSE, right? The second term is SSR, sum of square regression, which is the distance between mean and predicted value. This is the mean and predicted value. And the sum is the addition of both the errors. Now if you follow various blogs, various YouTube channels, you will find various terminologies used. Okay, so SSE can also be called as RSS, and SSR can also be called as ESS, right? And SST can also be called as TSS. So please take note of all these terminologies. I'll be uploading this file on the GitHub, so you can refer everything from there. And after this, there is a terminology called R square, or it is also called the coefficient of determination. Okay, it will explain the total variance of the dependent variable can be reduced by using the least square regression. Okay, so what is R square? The R square is ratio of SSR upon SST. This is SSR upon SST. Okay, so currently we won't be able to have this SSR directly. Okay, so what we will be doing is we'll be calculating the ratio of SSE upon SST, and we'll be subtracting it from 1, right? So that is what they have done over here, 1 minus SSR upon SST. Now let's understand the gradient descent and the cost function. The gradient descent, as it is mentioned here, like it is kind of a generic optimization algorithm which is used in machine learning, right? It is iteratively, we can say, that tweaks the parameter of the model in order to minimize the cost function. So what we actually do is we first initialize the model parameters with some random values, which is called the random initialization. And now we need to measure the cost function changes with change in its parameters. Therefore we compute the partial derivatives of the cost function with respect to the parameters theta 0, theta 1 up to theta n. It looks something like this. So guys, don't panic, we'll understand all these terminologies. However, the cost function and gradient descent are not explained over here in this tutorial. at a detailed scope. So what you can do is you can refer this YouTube channel. Okay, so they will be explaining the mathematics of the gradient descent right from scratch. Okay, it is one of the best videos I have seen till now. So you can do look at it. Okay, as of now you can just remember that the gradient descent algorithm. Okay, so what they've done here over here is, so y equal to mx plus b. So m, what in the terms of gradient descent they call is theta 1. Okay, and b is called as theta 0. So over here the theta 1 will be using as, this is, let us consider this as the slope. Okay, the mx minus y into xi, and similarly mx minus y, and alpha is called the learning rate, and over here m is not the slope. Okay, m is the number of observations. So let us conclude all this. Okay, whatever we have read above. To demonstrate the gradient descent algorithm, we initialize the model parameter with 0. Okay, so what they do is consider the gradient descent algorithm which tries to update the value of the parameter so that we arrive at the best fit line. So I'll just share few things about the learning rate as well. When the learning rate is very slow, okay, the gradient descent takes larger time to find the best fit line, and when the learning rate is arbitrarily high, the gradient descent algorithm keeps overshooting the best fit line. Okay, and makes even failure to find the best fit line. Okay, the step size is equal to the slope into learning rate. Okay, this is the alpha, it's called the learning rate. So now let's make a conclusion that when the slope is far from 0, we should take larger steps, and when the slope is near to 0, we should take baby steps, right? So this is called the hypothesis function, and these are called the training examples, which are x coordinate. This is called the error, right? And the parameters, as we said, theta 0, theta 1, actual value is y, predicted value is x, and this is a cost function. So I'm sure you'll be finding this interesting. So now we'll be directly getting into the data set. Okay, first we'll be creating a training model. So first let's import all the libraries. So here mostly we require NumPy, Pandas and sklearn. So firstly we imported the libraries, and then the data set is also uploaded on the GitHub. From there the student score is also available. So let's import it. So this is the data set. So as you can see over here, we have 25 observations. These are the hours, and we have the scores. Okay, so if a student studies for 2.5 hours, he gets 21 marks. If he studies for 5.1 hours, he gets 47 marks. So these are the sample scores. Okay, at how many hours should I study, and equivalent to that, what is the number of scores which I'll be getting. So over here you will be seeing that some of the values will be repeating, like a student studied for 2.7 hours, he got 25, while another student who studied for 2.7 hours, he got 30, right? So that is the reason, like, there is some error, there is some deviation in the values, so we have to find the best fit line. So right, I have skipped the cost function over here, but if you can download this file from the GitHub and remove this comment, then you can also run this and you can find the value of the gradient descent, the cost function. So as I explained above, the gradient descent, so I have defined a function gradient descent wherein the input will be alpha in the number of iterations. Okay. And also explain what should be the value of alpha, right? Alpha can be like near to 0.01 to 0.1. Okay, and the step size can be 0.001 or smaller, or it can be maximum steps of gradient descent can be 1000 as well. Okay, so I have defined the gradient descent function. Next step is I'll be defining the r square over here. So r square, as I said, it will be SSR upon SST, which will be equivalent to 1 minus SSE upon SST. So I mentioned here r square equal to 1 minus sum of SSE upon sum of SST. Okay, I won't be explaining all the steps, but you can refer it from the file. Now the next step will be evaluating the model, because now by this time we are ready with theta 1 and theta 0. The output of the gradient descent will give us theta 1 and theta 0, right? So there is a inbuilt predict function in sklearn. However, we have defined it over here separately. So to evaluate the performance of the model, we will be using root mean square, RMSE, and r square. So as of now, for this model, I have only defined r square, but we'll looking into RMSE later. So the value for 9.25 hours, which was asked in the question, the value is 92.97. Okay, and the r square, which ideally should be 100, but it is 95.29. So it is, we can say it's a good model. Okay, and I've also mentioned the predicted values over here. So this is the actual y, this is a predicted y. So as you can see, the values are very near, guys. So it's 21 to 26, 5 is a different deviation of 5 only, 30, 36, right? And by sklearn also we can calculate the r square, okay, which is also 95.29. So we are getting the same value. Now this was the model which we made on our own. So now let's check it out, the scikit-learn implementation. Okay, so first step, again we'll repeat the same steps. So first, again calling all the libraries, we'll calling the data set. I've made a scatterplot diagram. Okay, as you can see all the points, the 25 points over here, and this is just a linear regression line, REG plot. And over here we are fetching columns from both from our data frame. So we have got x and y. We can also do it by simply writing is z.rs and z.scores, right? So what scikit-learn do is they divide the data by this test size. It is 0.2. So what it means is that 20% will go into the test data frame, and 80% of the data will be in the train data set. Okay, so 80% means like we have 25 observations, so 20 will be part of x train and y train, and the remaining 5 will be the part of x test and y test. So training the algorithms now. So by default there is a in this sklearn library there is a function linear regression. So directly be calling it, and we'll be drawing the best fit line, the regression line based on the coefficient, the theta 1 and theta 0. So these are the predicted value, and now we are able to compare the actual value and the predicted value, right? It might be deviating from the model which we created above, because over here what they have done is they have divided the data, while in our case we had taken the entire data. So guys, remember that is the difference. So again we are getting the value as 93.69, while our value was around 92.97. so there will be some deviation, as I said. So now let's evaluate the model. So there is a formula for MAE, okay, the mean absolute error, which is 4.18, and I mentioned above that I'll be also explaining the MSE, okay, which is like the main terminology is called RMSE. So what we'll doing is we'll be doing the root of MSE, which will be RMSE. It is also called root mean square deviation. The root mean square deviation is 4.6. Again the sklearn, through sklearn we can find the R square value, which is around 94.5. And as I said, there will be 5 values in the Y test. So these are the actual value and these are the predicted value. And the last step will be solving it by stochastic gradient descent. So like first we created the model on our own. Second we did through sklearn. So why do we need to check this SGD? So guys, the reason of doing this is over here. Like you can implement alpha of your own choice, right? And you can also change the number of iterations, okay, the max number of iterations. So again by that also we are getting 92.97. the values are very near, right? Okay guys, so I hope you all understood the basics of the linear regression, the maths behind it, okay. And lastly, like I found a code, okay, for mapping the values of gradient descent in 3D, okay. You can refer this HTML, okay. So I'll just show how it looks like. So this is how gradient descent will actually look, okay. You can find the code for making this over here, okay, and the file is uploaded in the GitHub. Okay guys, so thank you for watching this. Happy machine learning.